Hi guys, Vivian Central here and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be doing a review of the 4th Doctor episode or serial Horror of Fang Rock. So yeah, this is the first story in series 15, which is the first story where Graham Williams was the producer. It was written by Terrence Dicks, who's written a lot of things. He's done a couple of books like my Day of the Daleks novelisation was written by him, and he's done, I think he did the Genesis of the Daleks novelisation as well. But but I think this is one of his only Tom Baker stories that he actually wrote. I'm not sure how many he wrote. But yeah, let's get into this. So, the premise of the story is basically that a lighthouse isn't working because something's attacked the lighthouse, and the Doctor and Leela have gone to investigate after they've landed in the wrong position. And then later on, a group of boaters crash because the lighthouse isn't working, and then they end up having to stay there. Now, when I talk to people about, like, what's your favourite Tom Baker story, this doesn't necessarily appear as much, but if I do mention it, it does get quite high regard, and in that respect, I think it is a little bit overrated, because although this story isn't bad per se, it just kind of has a, it just kind of feels like when you're watching it, because I'm pretty sure, because this is the only story with the Rutons in, and the Rutons obviously are in a war against the Sontarans, and I believe that is mentioned in The Time Warrior. So, if you're a kid who watched The Time Warrior in 1974, you've been waiting for the Rutons for, when did this come out? Like, 77? Yeah, 77. So you've been waiting, 3 years for the Rutons to finally come in if you're a Doctor Who fan at the time? And I think they they just don't really seem to translate too well, because it's like the whole thing's not that practical. The true form of a Rutan is like a jellyfish, and it's just slopping around the floor, slithering around, and then obviously, as you know, it can transform into like humans, and it takes some of the humans' appearances, which is a good concept in theory, but then it just feels like it's a worse version of Terror of the Zygons. It just feels like it could be, they should have really just made Terror of Fang Rock, changed Terror of Fang Rock for just a new Zygon story, sorry, and it would have gone a lot better. I think the Doctor is definitely, again, Tom Baker's portrayal of the Doctor in this is definitely the best part of Horror of Fang Rock. I think the whole thing is good, is that I like the fact that the Rutan just picks them off one by one, but I don't like the fact that by the end of it, a bit similar to Case of Androzani. I do like Case of Androzani, I do like this, but the idea that at the end of it, Tom Baker and Leela are the only two people who actually come out of it alive, is just a bit annoying, because it's just like, now the Doctor tries and saves people, and in Case of Androzani you can see he does try and save some people, but in this it just doesn't feel like he cares. At one point, although he says it in a jokey way, which he does for a lot of serious lines, he kind of makes it feel alien by saying things that should be serious in a jokey way. But in one of them, he just says, by tomorrow we all might die, we might all be dead. And he just casually says that. And, yeah, it's just annoying, because it's like, well, that's an interesting concept, that the Doctor goes into this situation and only barely manages to survive himself. But it's just annoying how you can see that everyone else died because, besides, I don't know, Terrence Dix wanted everyone else to die. But he had to keep Leela and the Doctor alive. And you can see that because some of the times when the Doctor could have, should have really died, it didn't. He didn't. And, I don't know. Another thing is just the route in itself. Like, as I said already, I complained about the route and design. It looks a bit, yeah. But also the fact that it's, you can see that when they made this episode, they were just looking at they were just looking at this like, this is really impractical, so we're going to make it transform into other people. Unlike the Zygons, it felt like they were going, right, this thing can have transforming powers, so we need to make it look stupidly impractical, so people don't question if it's been revealed as a alien threat. Why is it still hiding in a human form? Why doesn't it show its true alien self? Because it's so bloody impractical. I mean, the most we see of it is when the Doctor has a nice chat to it on the stairs, and then he runs upstairs, and then he runs away, and the Rutan progressively starts slogging up the stairs, and it's just annoying because I think, considering so far this is the only Rutan story, it just feels like, you know, a bit of a waste. And I know that apparently in Series 13 they're supposed to be having a Sontaran story with some new Sontaran designs, which I look forward to, because I do like the Sontarans. I think Time Warrior, Sontaran Experiment, even Invasion of Time aren't too bad. So I think it's just a letdown that the only Rutan story, their enemies, are just shocking. It's like, I don't know, it's like it, I don't know. And if they do make a in the new Series 13, if they do make a Sontaran Rutan story together, I really hope it's better than Namia Ghost and Doomsday, because that is just so one-sided. I hope that they make it so that the Sontarans and the Rutans are evenly matched, because especially if they've been in this long bloody war, if the Sontarans just actually dominate, then you'll ask why they've been in the war for so long. But that's just going on. That's coming off topic of this episode, sorry. But yeah, the episode itself isn't too bad. I think that the story gets a lot of gets love when it's mentioned. Like, I think this is one of those stories where it's like, oh yeah, if you said to someone, oh yeah, what's your favourite Tom Baker story, in their top 5, if you say, like, name your top 3 then Tom Baker stories, you might see a Genesis, Pyramids of Mars, City of Death, maybe even Ark in Space, stories like that. You wouldn't see Horror of Fang Rock, but then if you mentioned Horror of Fang Rock, they'd be like, oh yeah, that's a good one as well. Whether I think it just is a tad overrated. I feel like it's very it's a very mid overrated. When you ask someone about the story, they like it, but if you don't mention it, no one really remembers it, if you know what I mean. I like the setting. The setting of the whole lighthouse theme is pretty fun and interesting. Leela doesn't really... I think Leela gets a bit more to do in this. I felt like, apart from 2 scenes in Talons or Wen Chiang, she doesn't really do very much, apart from when she takes down that Chinese man that they arrest, and when she sneaks into Magnus Greel's base. Apart from those 2 points in time, she doesn't really do anything, so I'm happy to see that she does a bit more Horror of Fang Rock, and more than the Doctor does. I think that Tom Baker doesn't really do very much in this. He just kind of sits around. But all in all, it's a pretty good episode from Tom Baker. I wouldn't say it's my best. If I had to do a top 10, it could just about make it into the top 10. But no, it's definitely not top 5 for me. But yeah, that was just my opinion on the horrifying rock. I know a lot of people really like it, so yeah, I can't fault you for that. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's the thing. I might like stories that you don't like. I mean, enjoy uh, I enjoy Frontier in Space. Some people don't like Frontier in Space. I enjoy Brain of Morbius. Some people don't like Brain of Morbius. It's just all opinion based. But yeah, if you have enjoyed this video, please considering like and subscribing, and then you can watch more of my content and see when it comes out. But yeah, bye.